Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video tutorial, I will explain using Django REST framework how to insert records into a MySQL PHP MyAdmin database. Now we'll check the final output. The header tags, below that we got the table employee name. The employee name is let's add the Patel @gmail.com and the salary is 3245. Now before insert this Patel record, let's check in our database. Click browse. Right now we have only 7 records. The last one is a Kumar. Now let's insert the record. Click insert. See here we got the alert message. Record saved successfully. Click OK and we'll check the database. Browse. So here we got the Patel record is added successfully. That's it. First we have created this API, then we call the API to consume the API to insert the records into this database employee table. That's it.
If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates.
Before creating a new Django web application, first we'll check the table in PHP MyAdmin database, which is MySQL server. The table name is the employee, which contains 4 columns: EMP ID, EMP name, email and salary. Right now in this employee table contains some 5 rows, and I have created this employee table in the line database. Now my aim is first I will create a Django REST API framework, then I will call or consume this EMP table, the API. So let's create a new Django web application. Before creating a new Django web application, first we require one new folder. So I'm creating a new folder in this local disk new volume E drive. Right click the mouse, click new and select folder, and the folder name is REST Django insert. Enter. Let's browse this folder. Right now this folder is empty. Now we'll create a new Django web application in this folder. I'm using Visual Studio Code to create a Django web application, but before that we'll add the folder which we have created in the E drive. Go to file and select open folder. The folder name is REST Django insert. I have selected that one. Then I'm selecting the select folder button control, and here the folder is successfully added to our Visual Studio Explorer panel. At the right side we got the welcome page. Let's close this welcome page. As we know that right now this folder contains a empty. Now we'll add a new web application in this folder. For that, go to view and select terminal. The terminal, which is nothing but a PowerShell or command prompt. So first, if you notice, the path is E drive. This is our folder name, this folder name. So I'm creating a new application in this folder, Django-admin start project. The project name is REST framework insert. Enter. So REST FW insert is my project name, and you can notice this project is successfully created into our folder. Let me expand this folder application. If you notice, in this application contains one subfolder with the same project name and one manage.py Python file. Let me expand this subfolder also. Now in the subfolder contains some default Python files, settings.py, urls.py. All these files and folders has been created automatically when I create this project REST FW insert. So after creating the project, the next step will add the models page in the subfolder of our application. So select the subfolder of our application, click new file, and the file name is models.py, and here we got the models page. Now in this models Python page contains a class with some properties only. So it's a simple Poco class. This model class contains a Poco class, but before that we need to import the models class from Django.db import models. After that, let's define a class, and the class name is EMP employee model. the class name is and models dot model, M is capital here. Then after that we'll define the properties. If you notice, in our table contains 4 columns. The EMP ID column, the employee ID column is auto generate column, so I'm not adding the property for this column. I require the EMP name, email and salary. So let's add EMP name is equals to models dot careful, the data type is, and max underscore length is equals to 100. After that email and the same data type, and for the salary is equals to models dot integer field. After that let's define a class, meta class. In this meta class I'm adding db underscore table is equals to between double quotes I'm adding the table name of the database. The table name is the employee. Copy that one and paste here. That's it, we have created the models page. Let's save this file, save all. Now we require the serialization page. Again, right click the subfolder for application, click new file, and the file name is serialize.py. Now in the serialize.py contains the models and the fields. So before that we need to import the necessary classes. First I'm importing from Django, from REST framework, REST underscore framework, import serializers. Then we require the models class also. From the models page is inside my application dot models, import emp employee model, the class name, model class name I'm adding here. After that let's define the serialized class, employee serializers dot model serializer. Then define a class called meta. In this meta I'm adding the model is equals to, the model is the employee model, and we require the fields is equals to, between double quotes I'm adding underscore underscore all. That's it. Let's save this file, save all. Now we require the views page. Again right click the subfolder of our application, click new file, and the file name is views.py. Now this views.py Python page contains the actual logic to create the API, and we call the API. So before that we need to import the necessary classes from Django. First I'm importing the models class, so we require the REST project name dot models, import employee model name. Next we require the from the application name dot, we require the serialize also, this page name serialize, import, and the class name of the serialize is the employee serialize. Then let's define the function save emp, which contains the request colon if request.method, if request.method is equals to double equals to post, if request.method is equals to post colon. Now to insert the data we are using employee serializer class. So let's define save serialize is an object is equals to employee serialize data is equals to request dot data. Then let's save this file, the data I'm saving. That's it. It's very simple code to save the data. After that, now we need to validate the data what we are entering. So here if save serialize dot is underscore valid method Once the record is valid, the enter details are valid, then we have to save. So save serialize.save method. Now we require this function return response. So we require the response class here from rest underscore framework dot response class import response. Notice here this R is capital here. We need to import that class name here, response. In this response, I'm adding save serialize dot data comma status. We need to import the status. So we require from REST framework import status. So here now status is equals to status dot http 201 created. We are creating the file, or copy this one. If the enter values are invalid, I want to display the bad request. So here http this one is 400 bad request. That's it, we have written the code. To convert this function to API, the REST framework, we need to decorate with REST underscore framework dot decorators import. Here I'm using the functional API, function API, not the class API. So we require the API underscore view. Let's decorate with at API view. Then square brackets, I'm adding the method post. That's it. Let's save this file. Save all. Now after that, we need to configure the URLs. Open URLs. Let's add the path here from dot import views. Here we require the path. Let's give the API name is insert emp API comma views dot. We need to add this function name, save emp, copy that one and paste here, comma, and we need to declare the name also here. The name is the same as a function name. Let's put here comma here. Let's save this file. Save all. Now the final step, open settings.py. In the settings.py, come to the application definition, which is the install underscore apps. We need to install our application between single quotes. The first application is the REST underscore framework, F is small framework, comma. Then we need to add our application name also. Our application name is REST FW insert. Let's copy and paste here. Then come to the bottom. If you notice, the database in the settings page is a default database is SQL3. So our database is mysql, and the name, the database name, delete this default database name of mysql3. Let's add our database. Our database is lion database. So add here lion, and we require the credentials also, user, which is the root, comma, and we require the password. Here the password I'm leaving blank because I don't have any password to log into my PHP my admin database. If you have any password, please enter between these single quotes. Then we require the host also. Host is a local host. We require the port number of our SQL server, MySQL. So the port number is 3308. Let's add that one, 3308, comma, and the last one is the options, colon, between curly brackets. I'm initializing the command. The command I'm setting between double quotes set SQL underscore mode is equals to between single quotes I'm adding strict underscore trans underscore tables. The SQL mode is comma. That's it. Let's save this file. That's it. Up to now we have just finished it to create API. Now before consume that API, first we'll check the API is working or not. So switch to the terminal, cd. Let's add our application name to this path. Cd is a small. Let's put this cd small. After that we run the server. Manage.py. To run the server we need to add this manage.py here. Then run server, enter. And here we got the output, no issues found in our applications. Below is our web server link. Let's browse this link, control plus mouse click, and here we got the output page not found. The reason, we have added our, this is our insert emp API, / I'm adding the API, enter. And here we got the API, the get insert API. Below that we got the post. Here we get all the get details. Now if you notice here, in our table contains already 5 records. Now let's enter the 6th record here. This media type is the JSON type. So between curly brackets I'm adding between double quotes emp id colon 6 comma emp name colon between double quotes I'm adding John comma email joe@yahoo.com, and we require the salary also. Double quotes salary colon, we don't require to add the double quotes here, just salary is 2345. Now before posting this data to insert the records, let's check once again. Right now we got only 5 records. Let's browse this one. Now insert the new record, click post. See here the verification is accept here, 6th record, this one. Let's browse the record, browse. See here the John record is added successfully into this employee table. Now the second part is to consume or call this API to insert the records with the user interface. So again switch back to the coding part, go to views, now the next step is we'll create a templates folder in our application. Select the application name, right click the mouse, click new folder, and the folder name is a templates folder. Now let's add the templates folder HTML file. I'm adding the insert.html, and here we got our insert.html. Let's add the designing HTML5 code, dog type. Let's close this HTML tag. Inside the HTML I'm adding the header section. In the header section let's define the title. The title is create and consume REST framework to insert data, insert record. So after the header section I'm adding the body tag. Inside the body I'm adding the center tag. In the center tag I'm adding the headers. How to instead of writing this, let's copy this part and paste here, and let's add the h3 tag, Django REST framework tutorials. After that I'm adding horizontal line. After the horizontal line I'm adding a simple table with a border is 1 and Let's add the tr, table td. First one is the employee name, another td which contains the input element, input type is equals to text, this one is text. Let's add the placeholder. Placeholder is the employee name, and we require the name property also here. The name property I am adding emp name. That's it. Let's copy this one. The second one is the email ID, email, employee email, and here email, I'm adding email, name is, this one is salary, employee salary, enter salary. So after that we require one button control, input type is equals to submit button control, and the value of the button control is insert. Let's close the button control. So up to now we have just finished the designing part. Now what we'll do is go to views page. Let's define a function. Insert emp is a function name which contains a request colon, and the request, if request dot method is equals to double equals to post colon, I'm posting the data, what are the values in this text box control. So here I'm adding emp name is equals to request dot post dot get method between single quotes. The get method, the value we are getting from this employee name property. Let's copy that one and paste here. And the second one is the email is equals to request dot post dot get method is email. Remember, we need to add this property value, name property. And the next one is the salary. Copy that one, and salary is equals to request dot post dot get method salary. After that, so now the next step, let's define the data is equals to variable is equals to, I'm adding the dictionary here. With single quotes, I'm adding the emp name colon emp name comma single quotes email colon email comma then single quotes and salary colon salary. After that we require the headers also. Headers is a JSON type now, so headers is equals to, within single quotes, if you check in our database, the content type is the application underscore JSON. Just copy this one and paste here. The content type JSON now here the most important step, we are requesting the API. So let's define variable r is equals to or read is equals to requesters. So we requesters, we need to import requesters class here, then access that requesters class dot post method between single quotes I'm adding my API, the REST framework API. Copy that one and paste here, comma second property is that JSON is equals to data. This is a JSON type data, comma, and we require the headers also. Headers is equals to headers. Then return. This function return render. We don't have any render class here, so let's import the render class. Import Django.shortcuts. This one is from Django. Import render class. When we want to render our HTML pages, we require the render class. So that's what I'm adding here. Render request colon between single quotes. I'm requesting the page, this template insert.html. Else just copy this one and paste here. Before inserting, I want to display the insert page. That's it. We have done the complete coding part here to now. Save all. Now the next step, open your.py. We need to configure path with single quotes. Now this is our home page. Now use dot insert emp, copy that one and paste here. Save this file, save all, and in the settings.py, in the template section, we need to configure the directories also. os.path, this one os.path.join. I'm joining my templates folder with the base directory, so add the base underscore dir comma between single quotes. I'm adding my templates folder name here. That's it. Let's save this file also. Save all. Now the final step, again switch back to the insert template, HTML template. In Django applications, when we want to post the data, we require the form tag here. So add the form tag. Method is equals to post colon. I'm closing this form tag. After the button control, and here we require percentage CSRF underscore token. That's it. This is the most important step in Django applications. When we are posting the data or inserting the data, we need to add this token, otherwise we'll get an error. The reason we are adding this, it secures our data from the hackers when we are posting the data. That's it. Let's save the file, save all. Ctrl C. Let's run the server again. Python manager.py run server. After we run the server, we don't have any issues in our applications. Now let's Ctrl plus mouse click to browse the data. See here we got the output. The header tags, employee name, email and salary. Let's enter the employee name is Kumar and k@gmail.com and the salary is 5432. So before insert this record, let's check in our database. Click browse. Right now we have only 6 records. Let's insert. Click insert. That's it. Let's check in our database. I'm browsing the table. So here we got the Kumar k@gmail.com. What we'll do is we'll add some small message here in the button control. On client click, so on click return alert between single quotes, record saved successfully. Let's save this file, save all. I'm reloading the browser. Now we'll check the final output. The header tags, below that we got the table employee name. The employee name is let's add the Patel @gmail.com and the salary is 3245. Now before insert this Patel record, let's check in our database. Click browse. Right now we have only 7 records. The last one is a Kumar. Now let's insert the record. Click insert. See here we got the alert message. Record saved successfully. Click OK. And we'll check the database. Browse. So here we got the Patel record is added successfully. That's it. First we have created this API. Then we call the API to consume the API to insert the records into this database employee table. That's it.